If you're after your first new car, well, you could look at old favorites like the Toyota Yaris or Mazda 2, but those two models are now around $30,000 on the road. And besides the ballooning price tag, those models are hatchbacks, so passé. Enter the Chery Tiggo 4 Pro, not only undercutting the Toyota and Mazda in price, but also being a so chic small SUV. But with a smaller price tag, are there compromises? Or is the Tiggo 4 Pro the cheap and Chery-ful model you're looking for? Okay, let's address the elephant in the room. The 2025 Chery Tiggo 4 Pro can be had from as little as $23,990 drive away, but that's for the base urban. Here with me today is the top spec Ultimate, which is positioned at a very palatable $26,990. And that still makes it cheaper than any Toyota Yaris, Mazda 2 or Suzuki Swift you can buy new right now. And it's not like Chery has skimped on any of the equipment to bring that price down either. As standard on the base Chery Tiggo 4 Pro, you get 17-inch alloy wheels, LED headlights, a reversing camera, rear parking sensors, a synthetic leather steering wheel, keyless entry and start, dual zone climate control, and a 4-speaker sound system. However, stepping up to the top spec Ultimate nets you 18-inch alloy wheels, red painted brake calipers, dusk sensing headlights, a power operated sunroof, synthetic leather seat upholstery, heated front seats, 6-way power adjustable driver's seat, and a surround view monitor, as well as a 6-speaker Sony sound system. Is this Chery missing some nice to have features? Yeah, I've really grown accustomed to a powered tailgate, and cooled seats are always really nice in an Aussie summer. But what you get here at this price point is outstanding value. I mean, a sunroof, dual zone climate control, a surround view monitor. Yeah, they're all great to have features in a car at any price point, let alone one that is under $30,000. But what do you think? Is this the best value small SUV out there? Head to Drive Marketplace where you can find the best deal on the Chery Tiggo 4 Pro and its rivals. One criticism I could levy at the Tiggo 4 Pro is that I don't think it looks all that good. Look, I don't mind the front end all that much with slim headlights and a bold grille, but coming around to the side, it looks like Chery has sort of chopped off the back end of a larger SUV and called it a day. I also can't get behind the red painted brake calipers and the red accents on the wheels. I get that they add a bit of visual flair, but they just don't belong on a small SUV like this without any street cred. But most egregious of all, for me at least, is the rear end, which tries to meld the chunkiness and ruggedness of an SUV with the cutesiness of a compact model. The taillights are big, the rear diffuser and fake exhaust tips are big, but the overall canvas is small, which just makes it look awkward. Do you disagree? Let me know down in the comments below on your opinion of the Chery Tiggo 4 Pro's design. Powering the Tiggo 4 Pro is a 1.5 litre turbo petrol 4-cylinder engine, punching out 108 kilowatts and 210 newton meters. And while these numbers aren't mind-blowing by any stretch, keep in mind that's pretty standard of a car of this class. And this Chery is more than a match for the GWM Haval Jolion, Hyundai Kona, and MG ZS. It's also much more punch than what is on offer in the light hatchback class, which fields models like the Suzuki Swift, Mazda 2, and MG3. In the Tiggo 4 Pro, drive is sent to the front wheels via a continuously variable transmission. And because it weighs less than 1.5 tons, this Chery feels pretty light on its feet. But an issue I've encountered in my time with this car is that I've not been able to get anywhere near the claimed fuel consumption figure. Chery quotes a 7.3 litre per 100 kilometre combined number, but in my time with this car, I've been averaging 9.1 litres per 100 kilometres with a mix of inner city and freeway driving. Look, maybe it's my heavy right foot, maybe it's the fact that I've had 2 car seats in the back here nearly full time, maybe the car needs a longer braking period, or maybe that 1.5 litre engine just isn't as efficient as its competitors. Still, another area where the Tiggo 4 Pro exceeds expectations is in its practicality. I mean, look at the size of this boot. You could easily fit luggage, a small pram, groceries, and more in here with ease. Boot volume with the seats up measures 380 litres, but fold the seats down and capacity swells to 1,225 litres, which makes it even easier to take this car on those trips to Bunnings or IKEA. The rear seats are also capacious. I'm 185 centimeters tall and can easily fit behind my driving position with plenty of head, leg, and shoulder room. The middle seat though, as expected, is a little tight. And family buyers should definitely take note here because I installed 2 car seats back here without any problems. Let's see a Mazda 2 or a Suzuki Swift do that. And amenities back here include an air vent, a USB-A charging port, you've got door pockets that will accommodate a large water bottle, there's backseat map pockets, and a fold-down center armrest that exposes 2 cup holders. In the front seats, space is serviceable, if not overly generous. It's easy enough to find the right driving position in here, and there are storage solutions littered throughout, but this chunky center console and enlarged steering wheel does make me feel a little bit more cocooned than I would have liked. Nevertheless, the door pockets will take large bottles. You've got cup holders here. There is an under storage tray just below this climate screen. And you've also got a deep, and I mean deep, underarm storage cubby. Like, you'd be able to like and subscribe this video faster than it takes me to pull out my phone. So where has the fat been trimmed to keep the price so low? Well, the in-cabin materials aren't the best I've experienced. There's some hard plastics sort of strewn throughout the cabin, and I'm not the biggest fan of this gloss black plastic interior, which is probably going to end up scratched up like crazy. But at least the technology on offer here is pleasant. There's a 10.25-inch digital instrument cluster, as well as a 10.25-inch infotainment touchscreen, bundled together on a single wide display. It looks cool, and it works well too. Though that digital instrument cluster, the graphics are a little bit busy and can be a bit overwhelming. I also find the font is a little bit too small on both screens, meaning the information on show isn't as easily digestible at a glance as it could be. But let's talk about this infotainment screen. If you don't want to come to terms with the admittedly clunky user interface and OEM software, it does have wired Apple CarPlay and wireless Android Auto. A big win for Pixel users like myself. This is also the only way you can get satellite navigation on the screen, as there's no inbuilt option. I'll also mention this climate screen. It's a nice to have feature, but it's also redundant because the information is also shown on the infotainment screen. It's also not a touch screen. You have to use the buttons littered around it to adjust fan speed and temperature. So it kind of just exists. Another storage hole here would have been a much more useful addition. So the Tiggo 4 has impressed so far in terms of equipment, fit out, and practicality, but is this car's Achilles heel the way that it drives? Well, no, because it actually feels surprisingly well sorted and refined, especially for a re-emerging Chinese brand like Chery. Like I explained earlier, the 108 kilowatts and 210 newton meters on tap here isn't outstanding or class leading, but it is a perfect fit for a car of this shape and size. Coming away from the traffic lights feels sprightly and effortless. But don't get me wrong, you're not going to win any impromptu drag races here, but it also doesn't take an eternity to reach the speed limit. Chery has paired that engine with a CVT, which is designed for improved efficiency and smoother performance. And for the most part, it works well here in the Tiggo 4 Pro. The usual drone when accelerating isn't all that present here, really only showing itself under hard acceleration or flat footing it. Speaking of which, the Tiggo 4 Pro does run out of half closer to freeway speeds, which can make overtaking a bit of a chore. But where this car really shines is in inner city environments, because peak torque is available quite early on in the rev range, and its diminutive size makes it easy to weave in and out of traffic, as well as slot into a tight car park. The suspension is also up to task at these slower inner city speeds, able to absorb potholes and speed bumps capably. Don't get me wrong, there is a little bit of firmness to it, especially in this car with 18-inch wheels. But so long as you're not tackling obstacles at any great speed and you're aware of your surroundings, it's a surprisingly comfortable and compliant SUV. As for the steering, well, it strays towards the lighter side of things, but it's communicative and connected enough where you can have a little bit of fun in this car. But my biggest issue with the steering is actually the sheer size of the wheel. It's big, at least for a car of this size, and what that means is you're turning the wheel more to get the front end pointed in the direction that you want. It's not a deal breaker by any stretch, just something that I noticed. Finally, let's talk about the active safety systems in this car. Much has already been said about these systems in more affordable models, which can be at best annoying and at worst outright dangerous. Here though, the Tiggo 4 Pro cuts the mustard with an active safety suite that performs as expected and for the most part unobtrusively. Mind you, I didn't say it's perfect, and that's because the lane keep assist can be a little bit aggressive with tugging the steering wheel when it thinks you're straying out of the white lines. The safety systems, like the Tiggo 4 Pro overall, doesn't do anything overtly wrong. In fact, you could easily live with this car day to day. Sometimes it's nice to have a burger with a lot, but sometimes a simple cheeseburger is exactly what you need. The Chery Tiggo 4 Pro is the cheeseburger here, covering all bases to an acceptable and sometimes even impressive level. It has usable space, it's loaded with equipment, and it's easy to drive. There are some shortcomings, however, such as an overly aggressive lane keep system and odd choices in the cabin. But these issues, they're so small compared to everything else it does so well. And the cherry on top of this cake, of course, is the price. For less than 27 grand, you won't find anything this well equipped or practical and also backed by a 7-year unlimited kilometer warranty. But if you don't think the Chery Tiggo 4 Pro is the right model for you and you're still after a cut price small SUV, well, you can check out my video review of the GWM Haval Joliet linked up here.